All right. Who's ready to have a reloading live stream workshop Friday night? Rock and roll. Let's see if I'm live. See if I can see myself on my phone. And there I am, live, sure enough. If I can see myself. Okay, man. There I am. I'm live. And we got Bodie West. I'm back. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Am I back? I'm back, right? And so I hope everybody had a really good day. I had a good day. I always have a good day. I do. I'm so serious. Like, I'll wake up and I'll be really, really tired in the morning. But in my mind, I never allow myself to call the alarm clock the alarm clock. It's the opportunity bell, right? United States, you know what? If you want it, you can dream it, you can get it, right? So, okay, we have 8 on. We got Dave Huck. Hey, buddy, good to see you. SLS, hope everything is always well. Aaron Weems, hey guys, man, we got new guys on here. So we're gonna have a good loading live stream workshop. So I got to tell you this: I got off work, came home, and sat down and took my wife out for a steak dinner. Just a little. She had a 6-ounce sirloin and a baked potato, and I had an 11-ounce sirloin and a baked potato. Just something simple. I wanted meat. I wanted protein. I wanted to sink my teeth into something real. I didn't want cheese. Didn't want, tortillas, no dough. Man, I wanted meat from an animal. And so that's what we did. And sitting across from me is the most beautiful woman, my wife, right? So my job calls me this week, the owner of the company, and she says, hey, I said, yeah. She says, did you know that you have your wife listed as your girlfriend? Perfect. It keeps life so exciting that way. I just like leave her that way. Just leave it, okay? So, okay, I hope you guys are ready for some 45 auto. That's what we're going to do. Last night we did 9mm. We're doing 45 tonight. And who's going hunting here? Now, I see that SLS says good luck on your hunt. Oh, Big Kenny, he's getting ready to go muzzleload in the morning. That is really cool. Right on. So, okay, last night I had cases that were already resized, and I kind of showed you how I incorporated a carbide die with a full length sizing die. Well, I do the same thing with my Redding, my dies for my 45 auto. In the description box below, you're going to see the bit.ly links. Now, so everybody knows, when you click on a bit.ly link in the description box below that takes you to Brownells, through that link, anything you purchase, we get a small percentage that kicks back to us. That's what keeps my content and my forum going, okay? So when you click on those bit.ly links, in the description box, I put the actual numbers of the dies. That's the number you want. On some of this stuff I'm showing you, Brownells may not have it. You might have to go straight to Redding, okay? Just for clarity on this, okay? Yes, and thank God it's Friday. Oh my God, yeah. So, all right. First off, just like I said last night, where'd my load data sheet go? Oh, hang on. Stop the show. What did I do? I had that steak on my mind. I had my load data sheet. Guys, hang on. Let me go. I got to get my load data sheet. I'll be right back. I can't make a move without it. Come here, boy. Come here. Come on, load data. Come on. No, it's a actual sheet out of that. Aha! I found it. It flew down onto the floor, almost out the door. Okay, so this is how I do it. This is really big for the newer loaders. Before I do anything, I plan my trip. Okay, one thing I really like about the serial load data manual, you get to take the page out. So you don't have to have the whole book right here. Take the page out, all right? So when I say plan your trip, what I'm saying is when you go on a trip, you kind of plan out your motels. You know everything about the trip. Well, what we're going to do is we have a recipe we're going to follow, and we're going to lay everything out. Because if you are getting stuff as you're building, there's a good chance you're going to grab the wrong powder. So the first thing you want to do, you want to clear your entire bench, okay? Remove all the powders, all the primers, get rid of all the bullets, all the cases. And the first thing I do is I get my dies. I go get my dies, I bring them over, I get my shell holder. I didn't get my case gauge, but that's okay. I keep it handy right here, okay? I get my case gauge ready. So I got my dies, my shell holder, my case gauge, I got my press set up for large primers. If I'm going to do high volume, then I would get my priming system set up on this. Okay, and I would get my priming rods on the table and get all ready. Then after that, I'm going to take my load data sheet. And I start with my bullet first. The bullet is king. It's king for accuracy. The bullet is going to have more to do with the accuracy in your load than your powder, primer, and cartridge case combined, okay? So I start with the bullet. Now this doesn't mean that you didn't design this load around a particular powder. Because why? Because I'm using a new powder. Now powder, this is the main gravy here, so I bought the powder, but now I start with my bullet. So for my bullet, choice of bullet, this is the Accura 230 grain round nose bullet. Now, before I show you guys, I'm going to look 230 grain round nose, 0.451 diameter. Okay. Nice bullet. Accura does a great job. So that's the first thing. The second thing I identify is my powder and the charge weight that I want to use. So I haven't done a lot with my, I have a software program called quick loads. Now, just so all of you understand something, if any one of you goes out and purchases quick loads, go over to 76highboy.com, send me a private message, or start a thread saying, "Hi boy, I got my quick loads," and we'll get together on the phone, and I'll spend about 20, maybe 30 minutes working you through your quick loads. You'll be off and running with just the basics. And right now, for me, guys, I am so busy. I only use the basics of my quick loads, okay? But before I do anything here, I go in on my quick loads and I just start throwing numbers in there. I can take my quick loads and I can put the bullet that I want, I can put the powder, I can put the primer, I can put my case. If I want, I can weigh the amount of water that's going to fit in any one of my cases if I want to get that fine a detail. And then I can start increasing my powder charges, and it will give me a graph of about what I can expect for pressure, time over pressure. It tells me a lot that way, okay? In the old days, before I had that, you know, I could maybe if you're looking at a recipe and you got a min and a max, I could go to 50% up or maybe 60 and start working there. Well, now I can kind of take this quick loads, and it kind of takes me there a little quicker. Quick loads is not dead on perfect, but it's close, okay? So the charge weight that I'm going to be running is 4.6 grains of the high score 700X. I'm going to tell you, okay, I'm going to just say this. I got my comments right there, but they're really hard to see. If anyone sees a troll, I want everyone to just start hitting the exclamations. That'll give you an idea that something's wrong, and then the troll's gone. I'll get rid of a troll so fast, I don't want you guys to be bothered, okay? You see a troll, everyone start doing exclamations and enter and get my attention, okay? That way I don't have to read all the comments. So I'm going to go with 4.6 grains, and I'm going to tell you why, okay? I have shooting videos on my channel, and one of the I've always had guys leave comments like they'll notice that, like on my my 1911s, my 45 autos, I've got a lot of recoil coming off there. I run with power. I do. I put it down range hard. I like that. All right. The 1911, the 45 auto, this particular bullet was designed to run about 750 feet per second. That's just ideal, okay? I like to go about just above that, around 800 feet per second. So based off that, based off my quick loads, I'm going to start at 4.6. Okay, I am 4/10 under my max. Now, bullets. Let's talk about bullets for a moment. Walter, you want to jump on, buddy? Okay, here's the deal. I'm going to share the invite link for Walter to jump on. And then, now listen to me. Listen very carefully. The first person behind Walter that wants to come on, you can be a guest, so the guys can see you. I'll let you introduce yourself, and then I'll let you be on for 10 minutes, and we'll give you a polite goodbye, and we'll let someone else come on. You can all come on. We'll rotate you through 10 minutes at a time. Everyone just gets to say hi. Big family, okay? Oh, Walter's leaving. He can't come on. Okay. Yeah, I thought you were. When you said that yesterday, I was like, dang, because I plan on seeing if you wanted to come on. Okay, we're going to scratch that. We'll wait till Walter's on. So I'm just going to keep trucking. So this is just more as instructional as I can make it. Okay, a full metal jacket has a Brenil hardness of around 50. I want to say a plated has a Brenil hardness of, I'm going to say in the neighborhood of 30, 31. I could be way wrong on that. Don't quote me on that, okay? Okay, Walter, we'll see you. Have fun shooting. So, when reloaders buy a plated bullet, kind of the problem with plated bullets is you have a lot of companies putting these plated bullets out, but they don't produce their own load data. You'll buy the bullets and they've got no load data. And so, okay. So what happens is people tell you, oh, be careful. You know, you don't want to use jacketed data. You're going to blow your gun up. They start scaring you, and you're looking at these bullets, and you're thinking, you know, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. How do I load these? Okay, don't worry about that anymore. Here's the answer. If you get a plated bullet, you can take any load data for a jacketed bullet that's of the same design and use that load data and just drop it down 10% from the max charge. And there you go. Now, I'm going to point something out to you, okay? You can run okay, I push the Accuras. I do. I really like the Accuras. They hold together really nice. Based off this load data, going 900 feet per second, you can just go ahead and use, like for the Sierra as an example, I don't know what your other manuals are going to say, but I could push this bullet with the same load data off the Sierra as a jacketed, and it's going to be just fine. Okay, I'm going to tell you where you get in trouble. Where you really get in trouble with a plated bullet is if you don't expand the mouth of the case quite enough and you shave the base. Now you've cut into the plating, and you've doomed it to come apart as it exits the muzzle, and accuracy's gone. Okay. The other thing, if you crimp too hard, you're going to cut into that plating. So now, as it goes down the bore and it's twisting, it comes out, and your plating goes everywhere. And how, like I said last night, how you know that your plated bullet is failing because of coming apart is put your paper target out, say 1 yard to 2 yards, right in that area, pull the trigger, and you'll see it, and you're like, okay, what did I do? Well, more than likely, if you started, just at a moderate charge level, you're not pushing any insane velocities, more than likely it's something you did when you set that crimp die up. Okay, okay, I want to address something. Robert Lutz just asked a question. Okay, I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, okay? Because he's looking at the Hornady, but I'm also going to talk to guys that might be looking at the Dillon. You're like, do I want instead of saying Hornady Progressive and Dillon, let's just say you're looking at a progressive loader and you just don't know. Okay. The problem with the single stage is it's going to be too slow for you. It just is. Back when I was reloading out of high school, a single stage did it because I had more time than money. Okay, I was poor and I just happened to like to sit at the bench longer. I invested the time. But now in this day and age, you know, we got all these loaders in front of us and we realize we can load more volume. But in our mind, we just want all this volume. Okay. So I want to talk about the Redding T7 turret for a moment. Okay. Just give me a chance on this. These are my Dillons. Meet my Dillons. This one here, I have set up for my 9. Right now I'm running unique. I only run one bullet. It's an Accura 124 grain round nose. That's the only bullet. That's the only recipe I run through this period. Okay, right here, my 45 auto. It's 230 grain round nose bullet by Accura. I'm running my unique powder. That's all I run on this. This, I have it torn down for now. It's my 223 Remington. I have so much of it loaded that I'm going to be shooting for a long time. And so I just don't have this set up right now. But that brings me to this. Do you notice I just said I won't be using this for a while? I got everything loaded up off that. Okay. So now let's shift over here. The single stage is too slow. The progressive is really nice, but it's a lot of dough. These are the middle of the road. They'll put out way more than a single stage. They won't put out as much as a progressive. But the nice thing about these is for the price of a progressive, a fella could have 2 of these. You could have one set up for small primers, this one set up for large primers. So now, like on this one here, I have this tool head all set up. And this is how I used to do it. These are 7-hole turret heads. I used to go 3 die for rifle, 4 for handgun. And I still do that a little bit. But I do it a little differently now. This is all 9mm. This is my Mighty Armory Universal decap. I have both of my resized die. One is a full length, the other is a carbide. And then I have my expander, my seat, and my crimp. So this tool head gets dedicated to only 9mm. This one, we're going to set these dies up, and you'll see that this one is set up for 45. So if you only have one T7 turret, literally, I would say once you have the turret head set up, it takes about 2 minutes to change the turret head and maybe a minute to set your priming system up. So, and the other thing that this will do that my progressive presses can't is this builds in a lot of precision, okay? Much greater precision than I can get out of my progressive. And now I want to say one last thing. I want you to think about this. When I do my, okay, right here. All of these cases for 223 Remington have been fully processed. These are ready to go into that Dillon when I'm ready, okay? All of these came right off the T7, and then, of course, I chamfered and deburred, uniformed the primer pockets. I did all of that. These are ready to roll. But think about it. All I've got left is prime, charge, sheet, and crimp. That's all. So really, for someone that's not going to load hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 223, once you process your cases, all you have left is 2 more die positions. So at that point, do you really need a progressive? Because just 2 more die positions, this is able to put out easy 150 rounds an hour. There you go. So, and I also encourage my guys that have the progressives, still use this for your resizing and that type. So the T7, it has its place, in my opinion, next to a progressive, but it also has its place on its own. So I hope that helps, okay? Matter of fact, I have 3 of these, and I want 1 more. Right there is where it's going to go. I spend a lot of time on these. I load everything that I don't run on my Dillons right here, okay? Robert Lute says he doesn't want to have to switch dies all the time. Perfect. So once you get it set up on the turret head, you just remove the turret head and put the next one on with the dies that are set up. You're just setting up turret heads, okay? All right. So now back to this. So we identified our bullet. We've identified our powder. We know what charge we want. I'm running 4.6 for about 800 feet per second. And now we need a large pistol primer. I have some Winchester large pistol primers. And then cases. What I have is, these are range cases, okay? And I ran these through my 2 of my 1911s, and now I'm going to kind of explain how I get a lot of guys that come onto the reloading groups. By the way, in the description box below, you'll see a link to take you over to my private forum where no one can take away our rights to talk about guns and ammo, and then also my Facebook groups. Okay, so so there's a lot of different ways that guys, they process and clean their brass. So I want to talk about that for a moment. Okay, you go to the range and you shoot your handgun, and there's your brass. You pick it up. A lot of guys, they will universal decap, and then they run it through a wet tumbler. Once they run it through a wet tumbler, then they dry it, okay? So now, oh, you're okay, Robert. So now I want to tell you how I do it. I always approach my reloading from the stance that I want to shoot. And I'm going to tell you guys this. I want you to really think about this, okay? Wait. I want you to think about this. This just doesn't apply to reloading. It can apply to archery, fishing, off-roading, motorcycles, you name it. Sometimes when we go fishing, we actually catch the fisherman and not the fish. You show me a guy that wants to clean his brass so pearly, shiny, like a new chrome wheel with gold plating on it. He wants to see his teeth in the primer pocket. You show me that guy, and I'll show you a guy that got into reloading because he just wanted to shoot. Think about that. We got into reloading because we want to shoot more, but then what do? We start putting time into something that doesn't get us to shooting more. The only thing you want to put time into is what's going to give you more accuracy, better performance, and past that, anything above and beyond is only time that you got to ask yourself, what do I want? Do I want pearly brass, or do I want to go bang some steel? I want to bang some steel. That's all I want to do. Bang, 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 bang. Okay? So this is how I do it. I go to the range and I shoot. I pick my cases up. I bring them home. I throw them in my tumbler with the corncob media. I put a little bit of, I got some homemade lube I put in there, or some brass butter by Accura Outdoors, and I let it go for 45 minutes and no more. I go over, I take my cases out of the corncob, put it into my media separator, turn it, and I'm off and going. Now, I want you to think about this. Follow me. A lot of guys, they go shoot, they get their brass, and they got so much work to do, they save it for another day. Not me. Because I go shoot, pick my brass up, I come home, throw it into the vibratory tumbler, spray it, turn it on, come over here, start filling primers for my Dillons, get my priming tube set up, my bullets, my powder, have a cup of coffee, whatever, go out, shut the vibratory tumbler, and sometimes I don't even give it 30 minutes. I kind of rob Peter because I'm going to go pay Paul on the press. And I run them in my vibratory or my case separator. I come over, throw them right up into my Dillon, and I'm going. Boom, 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 boom. They're loaded. Put them back in the ammo can, and guess what? I'm ready to go shooting. And other guys, they got so much going on that they're still cleaning brass. So this is how I do it. This case right here, right there, that was fired out of my one of my 1911s. I picked it up. I tumbled it in my vibratory tumbler, ran it through my case separator, and now I'm ready to go. This one has been decapped. Okay. Now, so now what we're ready to do, we have our dies, our shell holder. We've identified all our components. We have our recipe in front of us. We know our case length, everything. Now we're ready to set our dies up. Well, the first die I'm going to set up, this is the Mighty Armory Universal Decap and Swaging Tool. You got to have one of these, okay? I'll put a link in the description box below. If you don't know which one you need, get a hold of Wayne, tell him what equipment you have, and he'll hook you up. Now what I'm going to do, now it's time to get in close on the action. There we go. Okay. I want you to watch this. Okay, so Shammy's saying I clean my brass in large batches. He always has some ready to go. Now I do too. I have thousands and thousands all processed, put back. Okay, just so you know, all those blue jugs under there, all that's ready to rock and roll. Jugs and jugs and jugs worth. Okay, behind this pan I got it's all ready. Okay, so yeah, I do that. Okay, this is what you don't want to do with this. You don't want to run. This is in concerns of your turret press. You don't want to run this down, apply a little cam over like you'd normally do, and then tighten this, because watch this. You're going to come around and shave. You see how you're going to shave that pin off? So this is what you do. You adjust this die to where that pin will clear right there. Then you tighten her down. Okay. Once you tighten it, now make sure that it won't hit. We're good. Okay. So there is our universal decap with the appropriate shell holder that matches your case. There's our primer. Now I got to get my brass, my 5-gallon brass bucket over here. Catch my primer. Now, just so y'all know, right here, that's all bad brass. I just let my primers fall into them because primers are brass. Old keys are brass. If you have an old key, throw it in that bucket. Okay, you can get money for it. So there we go. Voila. All right. We have our universal decap set up. Now we're going to get into my resize dies. I have two different die sets here by Reading. Okay. This one is for 45 ACP and AR, automatic rifle. In other words, an automatic rifle that you can shoot 45 auto through. Okay. Then this one, this is a complete set. This is their dual ring carbide. All right. What's the difference between these two sets? Let me show you. First off, here's your dual ring carbide. If you look way deep inside, you'll see a carbide ring, and then you also see a carbide ring right there. This is how this carbide ring works. On your 45 auto brass, last night on the 9mm, we learned that the base is about 10 thousandths larger in diameter than the mouth. Your 45 auto isn't quite so much. I believe, if I remember right off my Sammy specs, there's like 1,000ths difference. It may be more. It's probably 2 or 3 thousandths more. It's been a while since I looked. Okay, so basically, this is you know, it's narrower at the mouth of the case. So what Reading has done is on this dual ring carbide, the bottom carbide ring sizes more towards the base, and the top carbide ring sizes more towards the mouth. Now, they don't make this in a 9 because in the 9 you have 10 thousandths difference. It's asking too much for two rings to do. But where we have less taper, now we have two carbide rings, and it's going to size much more efficiently. So how we're going to set this up, run your shell holder up. If you're running on a regular, typical single stage press, Run your die down until you touch the shell holder, and that's it. On a carbide ring, you don't apply cam over. If you have a turret press like this, what we learned last night is every time the ram comes up, this turret head by design, it tips back. See, right now, this turret head is at a slant, resting, okay? You can't see it because it's not much. If you actually look under here, see if I can pull this off. Sorry, guys. You see that foot? There's like, between that turret head and that foot, there's just a few thousandths. Well, when we come up with the shell holder and we have cam over, this is going to tilt back. So what we need to do, we need to adjust this die down enough that we take up the slack between that foot and that turret head so it rocks back and sets solid. And when it does, this is square. This turret will be square to your ram. So this is what we want to do. We want to do just a little bit of cam over. See my die standing up? There. I can just feel, I don't want too much. I can feel that turret head stand up. If you don't do that, you're not going to size all the way down on the base of that case, and you want to. So now that we have this set up, we're going to go ahead and tighten that lock ring. If you want to know what tool this is a die lock ring wrench by Sinclair Tools. Click any of the bit.ly links below and you can just look that up. It's a die lock ring wrench by Sinclair. Very handy. Now we have this set up. So now we can take this cartridge case and we can resize it. Do a good job too. That's ready to load. It's not as pretty as some of yours, but I'm just going to go get it dirty again. I'm just going to, run it through the chambers, throw it into the dirt, and I'll never even wonder whether it was shiny or not. I don't care. Okay? So now, let's talk about resizing one step further. Range cases that have been fired through Glocks, XDs, every kind of 45 auto out there, you want to get your cartridge cases as uniform as you can get them. Here's one for you. I have 7 1911s in 45 auto. Okay, I want to be able to shoot these through any of that. So I need to size these to the strictest of standards. Okay. In this one for 45 ACP and AR is a full length resized die. It makes complete contact with every bit of the real estate on the outside of that die. It's just not like a ring sizes it here and here. This die is going to size the entire case, and it's going to crunch it down to a SAMI minimum chamber. Okay, so to set this die up, we're going to do it just like we would a die for a bottleneck cartridge case. Run your shell holder up, go all the way down. Once you're touching the top of that shell holder, okay, once it's solid against the shell holder, Now drop the shell holder and turn this about 1/8, and you should have solid lockout. See that die really stand up? And so now what we're going to do, we're going to tighten this lock ring down. And this case that we've decapped and we've ran through this resizer, now I full length size it. And without a doubt, that will fit in any pistol you want to run it through, unless it has some kind of deformed, I don't know, rim or just something funky about it, or you mess the, you don't size it enough when you seat it, you turn it into an accordion. But if you do your dies right and you get the bullet seated and you crimp it just right, this is going to fit. So what I do now, in my Dillons, I don't go this far. In my Dillons, I take the cases that I shoot and run right through my Dillon. But all of the cases that I bring into my shop, before they go to the Dillon, I do this. And now I have totally resized that down to a SAMI minimum chamber. And now what I'll do, as I sit here some nights and I do hundreds of these just like that, and then I put them away. I have thousands of these. And then once I start using these, running them through my pistols, I don't have to redo this again. Now, when I'm sitting here working up loads for this, when I'm working up 45 auto loads on my T7, I go ahead and utilize both dies. It's a freebie. You might as well. Okay. Here's one for you. A lot of guys say this is overkill. Oh, I beg your pardon. Watch this. I'm going to go through this die. Goes pretty easy, doesn't it? Now watch this die. Pretty stubborn. This die is really taking it down, okay? Now, I'm going to show you a trick. Let's say you don't have a dual ring carbide, but all you have is a full length die. Run it up in the full length die and turn it 180, and there you go. Now, I'm going to show you something. Sometimes when you size into a full length die like that for your semi-auto pistol, you'll run it in, turn it 180 around, and it'll still be hard to run into there. That means that case bounced back. A case it has memory. And sometimes when you size it down, when you pull it out of the die, it'll kind of bounce back. Well, when you run it in a second time, you'll feel that sometimes. And after you hit it that second time, it stays. We'll see if we can get one of these to do it, okay? Okay, here's the first one. Boy, that's a stubborn one too. Now watch. Wasn't too bad. Right there. That's an ornery one. So that could be one that if you just ran through a regular, if you go out and you're taking your reloads and every once in a while one won't chamber, get you a full-length die size, a full-length size die, and start running your cases through it, and you'll get rid of those little problems. Okay, your pistol dies, they can expand just like a rifle die, just they don't expand to the same degree. Okay, there we go. Those are all resized. Now, one thing you want to do, make sure that they're all large primer. Okay. Now, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect these, inspect them for cracks. This is a good time to do this because after you resize them, you cold form them, okay? That's when you're going to really see your splits. They're pretty doggone good. All right, so now our resized dies are set up, and now we're ready to come over here and utilize and go ahead and prime our cases. Now you're seeing that I'm going to fill this entire turret head up. So now you see why for a T7 turret, it's pretty handy to have one turret per caliber for whatever you're going to load. Okay. Or you can do 3 rifle die and 4 handgun, however you want to do it. It's your bench, you can do it. We got the reloader dude on. Okay, there is a small primer for 45 auto. Some guys swear that for 45 auto, a small primer in Magnum performs better than a large primer in small pistol. I would say if a small primer performs better for your 45 auto that's a Magnum, that a large Magnum primer would probably be better for that powder also, because I do utilize Magnum primers for my 45 auto. I'm not showing you guys that because that's my pet load, but I will tell you this. The small pistol primers for 45 auto came about for indoor shooting ranges to avoid all the issues with lead poisoning, blah, blah, blah. There's no difference whether you run a small primer or a large primer. I have tried it with both. No difference, very little difference in performance and not enough difference in velocities to worry about it. So I would say just make sure, you know, a lot of guys, they throw their small primers out. Well, we'll just save it. And then you can either load them all up and go shoot them or go trade it for something, for some more brass, okay? So, yes, that's why I'm inspecting for small primers. So now that we know these are all for large primers, now we're ready to prime these. Okay, now you want to make sure that that primer, it's just past flush, okay? This one, it's really close. If you look at these, okay, look very carefully at this rim. I've got a lot of reloads on these. It is so chewed up. You know, probably another 20 times through the pistol, you won't be able to read the head stamps, okay? When that starts happening, you'll also see that your primers just, they're almost like they don't want to seat past flush. Just pay attention to it, okay? When you get to where you can't seat past flush, pretty much throw the whole batch of cases out. And that leads me to this. This is why on your brass, you want to keep it segregated into lots and the amount of times fired. You don't want to say, well, you don't want to be in this position where you don't segregate your case and all of a sudden some cases are bad and you don't know which ones. All you know is this one has a bad primer pocket. I couldn't seat deep enough. These are done. They hit the recycle bin now. And you go get more brass, okay? Okay, so now I'll just keep trucking here. Now, as we prime, we want to put them primers up. Now, one thing you're going to find on a light primer strike, okay, when guys say, I had a light primer strike, I pulled the trigger, it didn't go off. More often than not, it's due to the primer not being seated deep enough. Some guys will say, oh, you seated too hard. No, that is rarely the case. That's rarely the case. I'm not saying you can't overseat. If you really want to put some muscle into it, you can. But I'm going to tell you guys this. A while ago back, I went through this phase wanting to prove people wrong. And I was doing a lot of tests where I was way over forcing the primer. I did that with a ton of cases. Every one of them fired. Every single one of them. But then I tried this. Watch this. And you try it. You try this. Don't say hi boy said. Say I know something that I tried. First of all, you take a primer. And you seat that sucker hard. You don't have to put 50 million foot-pounds, but you just seat it in there. And you'll find that's going to fire. Okay? And then you do this. You barely seat that. And as you go fire that, do 10 of them that way, and some of them won't fire. And you're going to learn that if you don't seat that primer deep enough, it's not going to fire. And that one, this one, it'll hardly go back into the shell holder. It's so shallow. So, failure to fire light primer strikes are mostly caused by primers not being seated deep enough, okay? Because what happens is the firing pin strikes that primer, and instead of it popping it, it just seats it deeper. It's like instead of the cup giving, the primer just went lower, and guess what? No bang, okay? Don't be that guy. Now, if I was going to sit here and do like double this amount, I would probably go ahead and have my priming system put together on this reading, and it's all automatic, and it's just nice that way, okay? So I've ran all my primers, and the reason now you want to put them all primer up is you can just go right down and make sure that those primers are near perfect. Make sure that they're clean. They don't have indentations from something dirty on the top of the ram that's kind of poking into your primers. That's a pet peeve of mine. Okay, I'm going to tell you why that's a pet peeve. Okay, so you guys know what I'm talking about. On your priming ram, on this priming ram right here, you want to make sure it's clean. If you get carbon buildup on that, every time you seat the primer, you're going to see an indentation of a speck on the base of your primer. So now I have a challenge for you. Whenever you go to gun shows and you see some dude selling ammo, two things you want to look at is his crimp work and his primer, and see how his primers have little indentions on them. When you go to garage sales and some guy's got a bunch of ammo, getting out of reloading, he's selling it, look at his primer at the indentation on it. And that tells you that guy wasn't paying attention, unless you're running a Dillon and can't see it. But on a Dillon, you should see it because every block's full, you're checking, right? So there you go. That gives you something to think about. That's part of your precision. Last night I said precision. We think of precision with rifle and not so much handgun. But in terms of precision on your reloads, you want everything precise. All your primers were precise. Okay? Okay, now, Jason, normal rule would be to avoid, you can buy people's reloads, but don't shoot them. Break them down, save the lead, utilize the brass if you can, but that's it. Now we're ready to set our expander die. The rest of these two die sets are the same. It's only the resized dies that are different. Okay? Okay, so I want to say something. Jason says that makes sense, strip it for parts. What he's saying is, like I said, you go to a garage sale and some guy, he's got a bunch of reloads for sale. You do not want to shoot those, okay? Because you don't know if he's got the incorrect powder. You don't know if one of them has a double charge. You don't know if one of them has a squib. I have a series on my channel where I pulled reloads apart and they were scary, really scary, and they were sold at an estate sale. Well, what you can do is offer someone literally a nickel on the dollar for all that ammo, and you pull it apart. You can melt the alloy down, the bullets for casting, the powder. If someone says, well, there's bullseye powder or there's tight group, don't take their word. You have no idea. When you pull the cartridges apart, dump the powder in a container, and then go outside, sprinkle the powder on your grass or on your shrubs, your bushes, your roses, your flowers. It is so good for them. It's fertilizer, but don't reuse the powder because someone said, oh, that's H110. You really don't know what that is. And then you can wet the primers, let the primers get good and wet, decap it, and you can clean the cases up, resize them, you're good to go. Okay? So now, our expander die. I'm not going to get too deep into explaining the stem design because a lot of you saw that last night. Bear with me because once again I gotta loosen this top block ring here. Okay, let's just do this. Start by removing this stem. I'm going to tell you guys something, and then I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell me the answer. I get a lot of guys in the groups, and they have questions about this, but they don't know what to call it. This is the stem. This is the expander stem. For the seat die, it would be called a seat stem. So this is an expander stem. So now I'm going to ask you guys, what is this called? Now, so you're going to take the body, and this is particularly pertains to the redding, okay? You're going to run it down, touch the top of the shell holder. Now drop the shell holder and go like, you know, maybe, oh, you know, not quite an eighth, cam over, and now lock your ring down. Okay? If you notice that sometimes this doesn't work, it's because some of my lock rings are too small of a diameter. Redding has two different sizes. Now, just so you know, when you put cam over and you have it locked in, when you finger tighten that lock die, when you let this go, it sucks the die in. So it's not quite as loose as you might think. Okay, so we have our die body set up. Now we're going to take this expander stem and just get it started. Now this is what you want to do. We're going to expand roughly 11 thousandths. So you're going to measure the mouth of a case that you've resized. And I'm just looking at 64, just the needle. We're just 64, that's all we're looking at, okay? We're going to run it on up. And now we're going to begin running this seat stem down. No, don't reuse the primer. Jason, yeah, you don't want to reuse that primer. I'm going to keep adjusting this, feeling for flare. I went from 64 to 72. I want to go 3 more thousandths. Okay. There's my 10 thousandths. So now I just want 1 thousandths more. And I'm going to explain why I want it as exact as I can get it. 75. We went from 64 to 75. Once you have it where you want it, put it in the shell holder, run it up into the die, and now tighten this little lock ring, that top lock ring. Now let's talk about why I really wanted that at 11 thousandths. And if you have a load data book, you might want to write this down. I'm going to get kind of deep here. So I'll say it slow. But once you get it, the light bulb will go off. Okay? Let's say you develop a load that is perfect. I don't care whether it's rifle or handgun. You're like, that's the best load. You have to go back and duplicate it. You can't have nothing out of line. All right? The reason I adjusted that to 11 thousandths is in my data for my 45 auto for plated bullets, I adjust it all at 11 thousandths. So every time I come back, they are 11 thousandths. It's going to be the same. That's one reason. Okay? The other reason, if I don't expand enough, I shave the bottom of the bullet. If I expand too much, I end up splitting the neck, and I don't get as many loads. I've got a lot of loads out of these. So I just go just enough, right? So, oh man, that is so perfect. Just cradles it right in there. I might find that maybe I have to adjust that half a thousandths more. If I seat the bullet and it doesn't fit in that case gauge, then I just gotta adjust it a little more and get maybe 12 thousandths, okay? So you want to know where you're adjusting that to every time. That's how I do it. Even on my 44 mag, all that, you want to know. Now, if a cast bullet would be about 2 thousandths more, okay? An oversized bullet like our 9mm last night, the Sierra load data manual is calling for 0.355. Well, the Accura is a 0.356. So technically, I should have expanded 12 thousandths, but I find that the Acuras, they seat just so nice at an 11 thousandths over expansion. So you got to work with it, but I find measure the mouth of the case and then expand it about 11 to 12 thousandths for a plated or jacketed bullet, and then for cast, add another 2 thousandths. Okay, not any more than 14. You go more than 14, you're going to kill your case off way before it was ever ready to die. Okay, so now we have this set up for just absolutely perfect expansion. That's so nice. Always remember something. Reloading is like hunting. You know, some hunters, when they're in the mountains, they're going and they're looking for the game, and they never looked back to see what the view on the way home looked like. So now when they got to go home, they don't know how to go home. But if you go slow and look at your surroundings, Go slow, look at your surroundings. Go slow, look at your surroundings. You get your animal a lot quicker. You don't have as far to go, and you will know your way home. It's the same way with reloading. You're not going to slam through this. You're going to pay attention to every little detail, and that's what puts precision in your function. Forget accuracy. You want it to go bang, 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 bang every single time. That's the difference between a really good reloader and a reloader that only makes junkyard ammo. Junkyard ammo would be a guy that when he adjusts this, he only goes by feel and he never really knows what he expanded it to, and he kills that case way before it was ever due, and he way over crimps it, and he never stopped to see that his bullets weren't performing. That's junkyard ammo. That's not allowed with you guys. You're better than that. Okay? So, now, speaking of no junkyard ammo, I better pay attention and expand all these. We got some really good, yeah. Oh, by the way, me and Reloader Dude, we've never, ever paid any attention. No, no. Oh, another thing, Reloader Dude and me, we don't even know how to reload. It's true, because it's what the internet says. Reloader Dude and me, we just go by factory. That's all. That's all we do. Okay. There we go. Oh, I should have had that on here. Sorry. I can't even make a video. Okay. So now we're ready to charge the cases. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what you don't do. This is what you don't do. Okay. I got to come to the right. Otherwise, I'll knock you guys over. Okay, hang on, hang on, hang on. All right. So what we don't do is this. Okay, all right. I guess you guys can see that. Now get my cases. We're going to go ahead and we are going to load up 4.5 grains of 700X. And do you see what I just did? We're not loading 4.5. We can make errors because maybe we have other recipes that we load 4.5 grains in, and I just did a Freudian slip in my brain. Before you come over here and you get it set up, you go back to your recipe now. Now we are running 4.6, not 4.5. Got it? Before you go here, you go here. Okay? Now, last night, we had this all dialed in for our 9mm. It's been sitting for the day. Yes, you can leave your powder in your reservoir for a day. It won't hurt it. Now, some powders you don't want to, okay? But this 700X, I think we're going to be just fine. Okay, that's right where we were yesterday. We're sitting like right at 4.1, okay? Man alive. I got too much stuff on the floor. Hang on. Sorry, reloader dude. Sorry about that. Okay. So I don't have much to go, really. Every time you adjust this, run it multiple times, and then throw a charge and weigh it. Okay. Four 7. 4 6. 4 7. 'Making sure that's 0. 4 5. 4 5. 'Toggling back and forth. Bang. Bang. I'm going to take that. All right. There we go. So now we're checking each case. No case has a double charge. No case has a squib. Between you guys and me, I'm going to be increasing this charge because of the case capacity. We'll just have to see how it performs. The 9 mil, boy, It really filled it nice. This, I kind of wondered, kind of wondered. But hey, it's all right. We'll see. Now I want to say something. If you kind of wonder why, like, for pistol, I sit there, I try to get the powder as dead on as I can get it. It's not because, like, if I'm going up, okay, a pistol has a short sight radius, doesn't have optics, and the amount of shake coming off the human hand, it's not like you're going to lose any accuracy going from 4.6 to 4.5 or from 4.6 to 4.7, okay? But do you remember when we set our expansion up for exactly 11? Remember, when we come back to here, we need to do everything as close to the same as we did. And there are times you will have such an accurate pistol load that you will see a difference if you really aren't running that powder the way you should. And I mean, I've talked to guys that when they load their handguns, they will trickle it out. They just believe in it because it's that accurate. So the reason I get my charge dead on is because when I come back, I want to duplicate it as closely as possible. 4.6 is 4.6. It's not 4.7. It's not 4.8. Now, when you're setting your charge up, if it's going from 4.6 to 4.7 and then 4.5, that's okay as long as the average is 4.6. All right. Now, we're ready to get our seat die set up. This seat die is capable of seating and crimping, but we don't do that in one step. Okay. Okay, run your shell holder up. Take your seat die and run it down until you just feel it make contact with that top of that shell holder. There, I'm making contact. Now, pick a point on your die or your lock ring and turn it out about 1, 2 turns. Now you want to take another 45 auto case, but you haven't expanded the mouth. Okay? And you're going to run it up, and you should feel nothing. Nothing's impeding that case. Now take this die and run it down until you make contact with that cartridge case. I'm going slow so you guys can see it. There, I'm making contact. Once you make contact, pick a point on your die and you're going to back it off somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4. The least amount that you back that off, the better off you are. If you back it off too far, you won't be able to seat the bullet deep enough. So I'm going to back it off about 1/8. Okay, I backed it off 1/8 and I don't feel anything touching that case. Now I'm going to remove the case and let's remove our seat stem. Now there is a chance that I'm going to ruin a bullet. And the reason is they're plated. Now just go with me on this. Okay? I'm going to make a dummy round. The reason I'm probably going to ruin a bullet is on this seat stem. I'm going to be pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And the plating on plated bullets it's much more fragile than a jacket. Redding, they have these set up to where you can put hot glue into these, and I did it on my 9. It works so great. I'm going to do it to this. All you do is clean that out and then take a Q-tip with rubbing alcohol, clean it out, and put the wet glue and mold the bullet into it, and then it stays. And I might, maybe Sunday, I'll do that live stream that you guys watch, okay? Once you put that glue, you don't ruin bullets. It's catered to the bullet, okay? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the bullet here. Okay. Run it on up. Now we're going to take our seat die. Now we're going to seat to 1.270. But what we got to do is, and I go actually 1.265. Our recipe's calling for 1.270. I kind of go about 5 thousandths under that myself. There's my bullet. Okay, I'm going to tell you what's happening. This case isn't catching enough flare. Okay, see what too little of flare does? This is what too little of flare does. It ruins it. It ruins it. That's okay. That is just fine. I got some more 45 auto keys right here. I'm going to go back and make sure it's flaring enough. Okay, there's my 64 thousandths. Now I'm going to flare it. Okay, I've lost my flare for whatever reason. Boy, I sure lost my flare. Hang on, guys. Man, I really lost my flare. You guys saw it right here. Hi boy lost his flare. Now we're getting it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So now I'm going to run the case up there and lock her in. I don't know why I lost my flare. I don't know what happened. There. And that's, don't worry about it. If you do something like that, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Okay, so now let's start over on this. So on the seat stem, just set it in there like that. We're going to place our bullet into the cartridge case. Run it on up, and now run this seat stem down. Now I want 1.265. And this bullet's going to look so rugged. It is. It's going to look bad. But it's because we're just pounding and we're pile driving it literally into that case multiple times. Don't let that frustrate you. That's why it's nice to build a dummy round. Okay. Okay. Overshot it, but that's okay. Now, guys, I might need to add a little more flare to these. I flared all of them, but if I lost my flare, no, that's pretty good. Okay, here we go. Let's see how it goes. Woo hoo hoo. I have like literally 2 thousandths to go. Ta-da! 1.265. Okay. Now, I'm definitely going to have to do the hot glue thing on these. That's what brought me to this. My Dillon loads these great. My Redding is not quite as forgiving, but Redding tells you, they give you the option to put hot glue in there, and then it molds it perfectly to your bullet. So that's not too shabby. So let's talk about length now. The book calls for 45 auto for this particular bullet. It calls for 1.270. That's the longest that you can run your 45 auto out. Other books like Spear for the same bullet type, they call for 1.260. I go midways in between that because I have multiple 19. I got 7 1911s and 45 auto, right? And I find that if I'm at 1.270, maybe one of them might not. Okay, if it's too long, the cartridge will get stuck in between the magazine and the feed ramp. If it's too short, it'll stovepipe. Well, every once in a while, I'll get one. If I'm running 1.270, it'll get caught right in between that mag and that feed ramp, just enough. So if I pull it back by 5 thousandths, it clears all my 1911s, and I just go. And that 5 thousandths depth, it doesn't affect anything in the way of overpressure or nothing like that. So that's why I go 1.265 on my 45 auto. So we seated pretty good on this one, but the bullet leaves a lot to be desired coming off that seat die. But you know what? I don't care. All these, I'm just gonna go shoot these, bang bang. I want to see if they function, and then Sunday I'll hot glue this, and then I'll really make some sweet loads. So for some reason, okay, that case was flared pretty good, but I lost my flare. So I don't know if all these are going to seat right, but we'll just see. No, I don't think it did. I felt it. It peeled the plating up. So somewhere between this one and this one, I lost my flare. So I have to go back and flare all these. And so what I'm going to do is I'll pull this apart, melt the bullet. I will save the powder because I know where it came from, and then I'll decap it, and I'll probably check this case. It's been shot enough. It's done. Sometimes you'll mess up like that. What I don't want to do is I certainly don't want to expand with the powder in there. That's a huge no-no. Okay. What I can do though is, hang on, I'm gonna move my chair here. Hang on. I dump the powder back into the powder hopper. I'm going to add a little more flare. And I'm going to charge the case again. Okay. Now let me seat a bullet. Yeah. Okay. Another reason that I seat at 1.265, if you're at 1.270 and you happen to have one a little too long, that can interfere with sticking the case in between the mag and the feed ramp. So 165, if you're a little low or a little high, you're going to feed just fine. So let me do this again. Let me dump the powder. Put a little more expansion on there. Now I'm going to charge the case. About 1,000 slow on that. I can turn that seat stem up a little bit. Oh, yeah. You guys gotta watch me. That's way short. All right, hang on. Hang on. Bingo. Okay, hang on. Bear with me, guys. I'm going to dump all 4 of these. Boom. Boom. Now I'm going to expand all 4. I want to charge these 4. And now I charged them, so I'm going to look in the cases. I'm going to verify that all 4 have a charge. You want to do that. You don't, once you charge the cases, you don't make a move until you verify it. Okay? All I got to do is seat these, and we're going to set our crimp die up. Okay, I'm going to show you this. Seven, 4. 7. 6, 1. 7, 4. 6, 1 to 7, 4. I've got a 13,000 spread in length. Let's talk about that. This is actually real world, and this happens to reloaders. And all I gotta tell you, it's the end of my channel. I don't even know how to reload. The die setup, my cartridge lengths are all different. I don't know how to cure it, guys. That's the end of 76 High-Low Reloading Guns and Ammo YouTube channel. And you know, not even a reloader dude knows how to fix this, but we can. What's happening? Okay. I load these Accura on my Dillon. If I take my Dillon seat die and I slip it into this, man, ta-da! Is that beautiful? Right off the Dillon. Oh yeah. Okay. But off my Redding, look at that bullet. See, it's kind of boogered up. Now look at this bullet. Let me find a bad one. Oh, look at that one. Okay. So what's happening is the concave portion of this stem is too aggressive for the bullet. Okay. Concave, like a cave, goes inward. Convex goes outward. Like on your car, you have a convex mirror. Well, this is concave, and it goes inward. Okay. It's too aggressive for the Accura bullet. Now here's the thing. If I had a plated bullet, it's not going to deform it. It's got a Brazil hardness of like 50. Okay, but a plated, see, that's where reloaders have a problem. And more than likely, I might be able to shoot these and the plating might not come off. But if it doesn't, it's just because the velocity isn't high enough. If I get the velocity high enough on those, that plating is going to come off and I don't have any accuracy. I've lost all dependability of my bullet. So what I need to do is I need to take the hot glue and I need to fill this and put one of those bullets in there and let it dry, and then this will be a fabulous round to load on this. All right. So what's happening is some of these bullets, it's kind of squeezing them further down and elongating them. So the bullet's lengthening into this, and it makes you think you're not seating it as far, but I'm sure the bases are pretty close. So this is kind of a smorgasbord of, I don't know if it will function, but I'm going to try. Okay, so I'll pick one of my new 1911s to just see, but I want to see what the recoil's like. And another thing that you have to be aware of, if you're shooting something like this through your semi-auto pistol, be aware that if they're too long, you just might stuff it into the chamber. You got to be aware of that. These I won't. I know on my length what I can get away with, and I know on my 1911s, before I stuff it into the chamber, it will stick in between the mag and the feed ramp. But there's always the chance you could stick it into the chamber upon chambering if it's too long. Don't forget you can do that. So you got to be aware. Another thing, when I'm shooting these, and I'm feeling for recoil, and I'm watching for a report. I want to see if that bullet went somewhere. It did its damage. Okay, you don't want to have one of these get stuck in a bore, but that's not going to be an issue here. The issue is they seated and they're deformed because the seat stem doesn't match. And this is another reason I want you to think about this. I only did 10. You wouldn't want to get this powder and, okay, your buddy says, oh, that's a great powder. This is the recipe, load 300 of them up. So now you have all these cases all charged with powder, and as you're seating, you're deforming your bullet. Shouldn't have done that. No matter what your buddy says, you're only going to do 10 because you can start damaging your bullet just like this, right? All right, let's go ahead and set our, oh, by the way, we would go ahead and tighten the seat stem down, but I'm not going to at this point. What are the comments? Okay. Taper crimp die. Take your die, run your thread all the way to the top. Get it threaded into the dies just like that. Place your cartridge into the shell holder, run it up, super easy. Run this down. You see how you got all the play? You got all the place? Oh man. Reloader tube. Stop. Okay, you see how I got play in this die? Run the die down until you start making contact. Okay, I'm going to show you, last night I showed you how to set this up for your 9, and I showed you what you can do if you don't get enough crimp, but I'm going to show you how to set this up, and you will have enough crimp, okay? Just trust me. Okay, I have wiggle, and I'm making contact with the cartridge. So drop the ram and go 1/8. Run it up. Okay, I got wiggle. Drop the ram, go 1/8. I have wiggle. Drop the ram, go 1/8. Okay. I don't really have wiggle, but I'm going to go like a 1/16. There, now it's locked. So once you have it to where it's not moving, it's now making contact with the mouth of the brass. It's just biting it. And that brass won't allow that to move. So now do this. Take your, you see my lock ring? Drop the ram and turn it an eighth. For your 45 auto, that's it. And all you should see is that nice ring. Now, when I say turn it an eighth, I'm saying if you're using the Redding taper crimp, okay? I run my lock ring down. I'm going to sit here. Now, we're going to case gauge these. But there's a chance that these aren't going to case gauge because as I was seating those, because the seat stem was kind of ill fit to the bullet, funky things began happening. And you can turn your case into an accordion. You can't see it, but your case gauge will. So let's see. Make sure you're not too long. This is going to be the trick right here to let you know if you're in danger of stuffing it in the chamber. Okay, that's not too shabby. That will work. That'll work. No problem. Yeah. So for me, initially, I just want to go bang. Okay, this is not seating down all the way. It's the rim. These are some bad cases. I'm going to pick these cases up only to see how dirty they are. And I'll show you in a video how dirty they're going to look. But these are going to definitely hit the recycle. They're just crummy cases. They're not crummy. They're great cases. They serviced me well. They, you know. Perfect. There we go, folks. Now, okay. Mechanically, that's how you do it. Except for we messed our bullets up. Because the seat stem is so whacked out, it's deforming the bullets, this poor seat depth, okay? But once I get some hot wax into that and I get that dialed in, I'm going to be seating some nice bullets so I can really refine my loads with this. I'm glad I didn't plan on chronographing these because I'm just chronographing, you know, ill-formed rocks, so to speak. So, all right, I'm going to open it up to questions, but I want to make a comment. Here in about 50 seconds, it's going to be the 2-hour mark. If I hadn't been making a video, I would have put out close to 300 rounds off of this in the amount of time we've been going. For the video, I've only made 8 little soldiers, okay? But in real time, I would have put about 300 rounds out. That's what this was capable of, okay? So any questions, I hope. Oh, I didn't see your comments. Any questions? I don't want anyone to ever think that I think I'm in the position of a professional. I just want to take information and pass it on. And then what you guys do is when opportunity comes, you pass it on. That's what we keep doing. We just keep passing it on, right? Okay, is it usual that it messes up? Okay, Redding used to put several seat stems with their die, but what they did is this actual die, it fits other bullets. It's the shape of the bullet, not matching the stem. So it just depends on what bullet you're using, okay? Every company has that problem, by the way. But like Lee, I think they have multiple stems. And the other thing, if you send that bullet into a company, you can pay them and they'll send it with the stem back to you for that bullet. And I might do that. I don't know if Redding does that. I should ask, but that would be really cool. And they could put Accura 230 grain round nose on it, so you know what bullet that goes to. All right. So just keeping that in mind. You can make them fit, you know, and guys do. Competitive shooters, they got stems to match every bullet. Okay, which I admire. I think that's smart. Yeah, Walter's had that problem too. Do you remember Walter back on I did a live stream on my no, I don't know if it was a live stream. It was in a video series seating on my I was seating a 223 bullet on this and it was too much. Oh, they were the frangible bullets by Sierra. Thin little jacket on them, and the Redding seat die was just too aggressive for it, you know. And okay, in this tub here, okay, I got a question. I got to adjust this. In your giant tub, is that all mixed head stamps? Those are bad cases. Those are going to recycling. They're bad cases. Okay. Now, he might be talking about these. Yes, these are mixed head stamps. Okay, okay. You guys gonna laugh? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. That's all. That's half full. Okay. So just so you know. Hang on. I can't show you this. Okay. Under the bench, I have, let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of these. So I got 8 total, all filled with brass. But in each one of them, I have between 2,000 and 3,000 primers stuffed in there. So I do this. Ta-da! That keeps it airtight. All right. So I'm just kind of watching comments. Yes, these are mixed head stamps. This is just for my steel targets. That's all. So I don't ask for very much accuracy other than good groups on my steel targets. That's all. And I get it out of that, you know. So I hope that answered your question. Okay. Open the questions. Open the questions. I'll answer them the best I can. Okay. All right. All right. I'm just kind of looking at questions, and my mouse isn't working. Nothing. Okay. Mark says the Federal Magnum small pistol primers will shoot in a striker fire versus BP9. When do you sort your random cases? I don't sort my cases for my handguns unless, like, for my 44 Magnum, my hunting rounds, those are all the same head stamps, or my homegrown defense loads, and those will go into new cases. I would have no problem putting these into range cases, but I would make all those the same head stamps, and they would only be once fired. Okay, I want to talk about something. In battle, shit hits the fan. I do buy factory ammo. I do. A lot of you guys don't know that. I do. Especially when, like, a gun shop is going out of business and their factory ammo is real cheap. It's like I can buy that for cheaper than I can reload it, and I'll still have the brass left over. That's great. I love that. But I don't shoot it. If I buy factory ammo, I don't shoot it. I put it back. Okay. For self-defense, I would advise not using your reloads. Not because of the lawyer attorney argument. You can't find one case in the United States where some dude used his own reloads to defend himself and he went to prison for that. Okay, it's a stupid loophole that someone plugged somewhere and scared everyone. Okay, I wouldn't use reloads because the rims on cases can fail. They're used cases. That's when the light primer strike gets you. You were in battle and it went click and his went bang. That didn't work out good for you. So I do have factory ammo put back. I do. Comes in real handy when you need to go bang, bang, bang every time. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with having your own reloads put back for defense. But this is just me. I would be using new cases. But if you don't have new cases, you can go once fired cases, but I would match head stamp so all your mouths are expanded the same, and I would make sure all of the rims were pretty near pristine. So they're going to be as close to new as you can get them. When I'm shooting once fired range cases, And I go out, man, it's bang, 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 bang. They just ride great. But you'll see that after reload, the rims get chewed up. Man, you don't want to have that for yourself to finish. Yeah, shit hits the fan and it's all you got. Game off. You're going to throw rocks if you have to. You're going to use a slingshot if it's all you got. Okay? So shit hits the fan, you're going to use whatever you have at your disposal. But if you can set yourself up like for these right here, super effective bullet, stick a new case behind it, you know, if you can. Another I got these in 185s and 230s. Great bullets, really good bullets, good performers. Also have these 200 grain trains, man. This is a SIG bullet. These are the V Crown by Sierra. Great bullet. Performs really well. So there we go. That's the bulk of them. Tips for rust prevention on what? What is it we want to keep rust off of? John Lincoln is asking. Dies and press accessories. I don't really have that issue. I've never had that issue where we live. But one thing is, if I'm in the garage, if I was out in a shed, oh, I would have a rust problem. The one guy here saying the Hornady one shot. You know, Hornady one shot is basically graphite with a delivery system, and the delivery system, it evaporates. All right. So believe it or not, just regular graphite on stuff will stop that. The problem is you don't really want to introduce oil into the workings of everything. You just don't. That's a disaster. Okay. One of the things that might work is just lube, just a little bit of spray lube, and use it. Of course, you use your dyes. Now, when you store your dyes, you can lube them. When you put them away, lube them up, keep them lubed. They won't hurt them. But when they're on the press, you're going to want to pretty much remove that, and of course there will be a protective layer on there. But if you've got dyes set up for a long time, just good old-fashioned spray lube will kind of keep it covered, and that's just coming to my mind. Like I say, I don't have any problem with rust. I just don't. The best bet is call the equipment manufacturer that you know you have, and just ask them, see what they say. Because I've never dealt with it in like I know some guys do. Robert Swan, is there a key to having constant shoulder setback, say 2000? When you say 2000, the way I read that is you have 2,000 of something. Are you saying 2,000? Because 2,000 is that. That's 2,000. There's a difference between 2,000 and 2,000. So to answer your question right, are you meaning 2,000? You know what? I think the ballistol, I think that would be very good. I really do. And another thing, and just thinking about the rust, you know, I've never had an issue with it. But if I did, I kind of think that I would get something like ballistol, or ram oil, and I would spray a towel, and I would keep that towel, and I would wipe things down. I think that would, see, if you spray the oil on, that's going to be a mess. But just to wipe it down to keep that light film on there, I don't think that's a problem. Most gun shops have ballistol. I don't know how you say it. Two-thousandths of an inch. All right. The best way is to get competition shell holders by Redding. Let me get a box. Okay. There's two ways that I would do it. My first preferred way is right there. And you're going to start at the 10,000th shell holder. No. You'll start at the plus 10. And then you'll go down to, and you'll try it in the rifle. And then you're going to go to the plus 8 and try it in the rifle. And you'll keep going down until you can just comfortably close the bolt. And that's going to be about a 2,000th bump. The reason I like these is because you'll have cam over on these. And it's consistent cam over. Okay. In other words, you're going to set your standard. Okay. To the gentleman that's asking this, you're going to set your standard shell holder up for cam over on your resize die. Then you take the standard shell holder out and you put the plus 10. Well, you still have the cam over, but you've got plus 10 thousandths room. So you're going to size the case the first time. Before you try it in the rifle, wipe the lube off, and you're going to try and chamber it. If it won't go, then you're going to re-lube it, put the plus 8, and you're going to size it with the plus 8. And you keep reducing that until the bolt will just close. And now once you have that, it's perfect because you have cam over every time. It's the same cam over. That's why the competition shell holders are king, in my opinion. Now, the second way to do it is you're going to put your rifle die, tread it in until it goes down, and you just make contact with your shell holder. Now, at that point, drop the shell holder and only put like a 32nd to a 16th turn on it, and you'll feel a little more cam over. At that point, you got to lube your case and size it and then measure it. But here's the kiss of death. A die for a bottleneck case will actually squeeze it before it crunches it. So that would mean if you squeeze the case, what happens when you take a tube of toothpaste and you squeeze it? It gets longer. So if you barely have the die adjusted and you run the case up, it's kind of going to squeeze it, but it's going to lengthen it, and that's going to confuse you. So you have, so this die then, you've turned it like a 30 seconds. So you're going to keep turning it like a 30 seconds at a time until you've bumped it 1,000. Once you've bumped it 1,000, we know we're sizing this way and not just this way. And now 1/16 of a turn should equal 1,000. And I would go a 30 seconds for 1,000. But here's your problem with that. You're not turning that die a whole bunch. So you're not getting real cam over. So you have to use cases with all the same head stamps, which I'm assuming you are. You're a precision reloader. So all your cases are the same head stamp. Make sure they're all fired out of the same rifle, all the same amount of times. But the kiss of death is going to be, if you don't have any cam over, some of those cases aren't going to get crunched down as far as others, and you could have a case or two that's still 1,000 or two higher. So you're going to have to mic every one of them and measure them before and after and make sure they're uniform. And what will tell you that you're doing it right is like RCBS, they have the way that you can measure it. Measure every single one of them as you adjust your die. And that will tell you that your die adjustment is correct. Numbers don't lie. We can guess, but if you are measuring for your headspace as you're adjusting the die, your little micrometer will tell you, hey, it's working, or hey, it's not. So the numbers won't lie. So I hope that I explained that right, okay? Good live stream, very good live stream. It's approaching 9 o'clock, and about ready to wind this down. Yeah, you're using Lapua. That's the best. So your cases now, those are the best you can get. Those are going to be they're virgin brass, which they all use virgin brass, but their process of brass, it's very expensive. It's top notch. Okay, it's more than a step above the rest. Your cases are going to be exact duplicate of each other in pretty doggone close. Okay, so you should be able to really set that die up and see a difference in sizing on those dies, I would assume. I have never, I always size back to a min chamber. So my sizing is more gross than yours. You're more finite. I've never really been that finite on those until I started working with the instant indicator for my 223 and my 30-06. So with this, I can get 1,000. And what equipment are you loading on? Oh, okay. Okay, you're all about ready. Then you need the competition shell holders, or if they don't have it for your caliber, you can at least verify. If you have this, that's king. That's king, man. That's as good as it gets. Hey, Robert, um, if you go over to the forum, if you join, shoot me a private message and we can do something where we face to face real time and I could help you with that if you need that. Because sometimes it's it's kind of helpful if someone can say, turn it this much, back it off. I've done that for a lot of guys with they have the instant indicator in the whole works and they're lost, but a half hour of going over it with them, man, they got it and they're off and running. So if you want, I would do that. .com. Click on the link in the description box below. You're welcome, Robert. Guys, I'm gonna call it night. I'm gonna go in and be with my wifey. Oh, and by the way, we can't go see our mother-in-law, my wife's mother, tomorrow because a ton of COVID, and she's a little sick. She doesn't have COVID, but she's not feeling good. So we're not going to go see her. So we're sad for that, but we're going to go shoot tomorrow. I'm going to try and get some footage. So you might see a shooting video come up later tomorrow or Sunday, and you'll probably see these test loads that we pathetically worked up tonight. And so it should be fun. And I'm thinking first of the week I'll have a live stream report on what I think of this powder, okay? AB just joined, very good. Okay, I'm going to call you all off, and I'm going to tell you what comment I want you to make, okay? I'm going to ask you a question in a moment, and I want you to answer it, and I'll read your answer off. I love raw hamburger. I love to take raw hamburger and put onions in it and spice, and I love raw hamburger with just salt and pepper, a little cayenne in there. I can eat it raw. I mean, just raw, okay? I don't like a steak raw or rare. I like the flavor, but I like my steaks to be tender. So when you cook a steak, it gets tender. But if you cook it too much, it gets dry. So I like my steak in the middle. I like rare because it's got the juice, but it's cooked enough that it's tender. So I want to know, how do you like your steak? How do you like your steak cooked? Well done, medium rare, rare. Oh,
Honey, your hamburger's ready.
I'll eat it.
Oh, please.
It's frozen. I would eat it. I would not have a problem.
Okay.
Maybe, oh, dude, that's gross. Their loader dude wants a stop sign. Oh, that's how I do my burgers. I smoke my burgers for 45 minutes. Dude, you got that spot on. You smoke those burger patties for 45 minutes, and then you just crank it to 300. Do you want to know why I don't crank it to 400? Because when you smoke them for 45 minutes and you crank it to 300, they'll make their own fire off that oil. off that grease. Oh, dude, those are good burgers, man. Oh, oh, okay. SLS is medium rare. That's how my wife likes hers. Samson, medium well. Oh, dude, that's gross. Mark Stock, medium rare. Mark Lutz, smoke it. Oh, man. Yeah. Ken Edmonds, rare. I like how he thinks. Robert Lutz, smoke it. Burgers, yum yum. Medium to medium rare. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm right there. I can have a medium rare. I like it more medium, but somewhere in there. Medium well, says Jason Treewind. Sergeant Sandman, Steak Tartar, SLS. Still moving is fine too. You won't get worms, no. Oh man, these comments are great. Jeff Fallon, it's good to see you, buddy. There's never roadkill on my streets. Walter likes his medium rare. Oh my gosh. Andy won Alaska. Medium well. Okay. All right. I got so engrossed in your comments. I didn't read your names. So I want everyone to type the word out, and I'm going to roll call your name, and we'll be done. Type the word out, and I'll call you off. Let's go. Man, you guys are great. Come on over. We're going to have a barbecue, and I'll make sure it's not raw for you. Oh, bacon wrapped. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, here we go. Sergeant Sandman is out. Robert Lutz is out. Samson is out. MSB 9021 is out. Miss Hideaway, the beautiful Miss Hideaway, is out. And let's see, who else? Walter Bunning. I know he's out. Oh, there we go. Okay. SLS is out. Man, going faster than I can call you off. Hey, God bless you, SLS. Thanks, buddy. Mark Stock is out. The Reloader Dude is out. David Marshall is out. Critter 9A is out. Walter Bunning is out. Robert Swan is out. The Reloader Dude, strike 3, I know. Conservative Sniper Hunter is out. Greg McCormick, hey, brother, it's good to see you, man. And last one, Andy is out. Ken Edmonds is out. Now, before we sign out, go to 76highboy.com. Make sure you join. Make a fake name. Jeff Fallon is out. Make a fake name so no one knows who you are. I am about your privacy, but on my forum, you can talk about guns. You can brag about guns. You can post pictures of your guns. I won't ban you for that. So go over there, read the rules, start posting, 76highboy.com. Guys and gals, that's the end of this video. Stay tuned. We'll be showing you the results of this powder. That's the end of this video, and we're out.